I got someone, the last four digits of the phone number is 6720. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Mitch.
Who's this?
This is Justin from Washington.
Hey, Justin, how you doing?
Hey, good. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. One of them, let's see, I think you kind of touched upon it, or maybe Dan kind of touched upon it. It's, how do you negotiate with the seller on the terms? Or actually, what I guess I was wondering is, do you get much pushback from the seller on the terms? Do they say, hey, if it can be 10%, why couldn't it be 9%, or why couldn't it be 8%? Or do they try to talk you down?
Hold on a second. You're talking about my buyer. I finance my buyer at 10%.
I'm sorry, yeah, buyer. Did I say, buyer.
Well, sometimes I try to push back. So this is the way they push back. One of them will take the $1,000 a month, and they'll multiply it times 360, and they'll say, if you multiply 1,000 times 360, this house is costing $360,000. That's the first sign your deal's not going to close.
Okay.
They say, I multiplied 1,000 times 30 years, 360 months, and you're selling me this house for 360. I lose my patience with these. I used to try to rationalize with these people and explain to them, but they're just plain stupid, and they don't want to understand, and they're just trying to bargain with you that way. But here's the deal. If you have great credit and you can pick whatever you want to do, then get out of my house and go find one and go get a bank and do it all. If you want to buy this house, it's my rules, not your rules. I'm the one carrying a note for 30 years, okay? If you can get someone else to carry a note for you for 30 years, then work out a deal with them. But this is my deal. It's not negotiable. If you want to negotiate, move along, because I'm not going to negotiate. I'm going to find someone who will take my deal the way it is. You know how I know? I've done it 2,000 times in a row for 20 years. I know that I'm going to find someone at my terms, because my terms, no matter what my interest rate is or what my price is, the monthly payment is what they're paying across the street to get nothing. They're not getting anything. They're a renter. They're getting jack, and the payment won't even stay the same for 30 years. Next year, that rent will be higher. My payment stays the same. In 10 years, I don't know what that rent payment is going to be, but it's going to be a lot higher. My payment, if you buy my house, your payment's still the same. 20 years from now, I don't know what the rent's going to be, but it's going to be a lot higher, and your payment's still going to be the same. So I don't have any trouble selling it. If anyone doesn't want to understand or doesn't like my rate, I completely understand. You're welcome to leave.
I see. Yeah. So you're basing it, on the rent. So I guess I was focused on creating a difference, between what I'm borrowing and what they're buying for, so that I have a spread.
Okay. Well, this is where it's not really what you're doing. However, it's called the arbitrage, the difference between what you're borrowing money at and what you're lending it at, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do both. I think I want to create some cash flow, but I also got to make it affordable for them.
Well, who you need to be negotiating with is your private lender, because if you can borrow money from your private lender at 6% and you're loaning out at 10%, and let's make sure we're on the same page here. You're buying a house for 50. You're selling it for 100 with 10,000 down, and you're carrying 90. So you're buying it for 50 at, say, 8% interest, and then you're carrying 90 at 10% for 30 years. So you're making 2% on your borrowed money, right? The first 50,000 because you borrowed it at 8, but you loaned it out at 10, and then you're making the full 10% on the 40,000, the difference between 50 and 90, and you paid yourself $10,000 to make that happen because you got 10,000 in the down payment. It's a great business.
Well, it is, and I was going a little even further, and I felt more complicated. It does get complicated fast, but I was trying to incorporate like your 50-50 deal, where you do 50% carry back to the seller, so he carries your loan at whatever divided by 120 payments or something.
Oh, well, that would be a 0% interest loan if you just do the division by the months, right? So then you'd be making 10% on the whole 90,000.
Yeah. 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 So it just so I was just thinking that if somebody was challenging me, it'd be like, well, that's how I got to make a certain spread, and this is a good deal for you for the price that it monthly.
Okay, so if they challenge me, here's the thing, man, I can't loan you money cheaper than they loan me money, whether it's true or not, you know. Or you don't have to say no. You don't have to say no, Justin. It's Justin, right? Am I talking to Justin?
Yep. No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to say no. They say, man, your interest rate's kind of high. You say, well, what do you want it at? Instead of 10, can you do 8? I say, sure. Instead of giving me 10,000 down, can you give me 30? I will if you can. That's always the thing. I will if you can. They ask you for something, you got to ask for something. Yeah. I will if you can. And then you set your bar as unreasonable as they are. Someplace else. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'll drop it 2 points if you'll give me 20,000 down on top of what we've already discussed. I mean, maybe it's not 20, maybe it's 10, whatever turns you on. You know what I mean? But in the negotiations, it's never just no. If you really got to strive to say, I will if you can, or I can if you will. I think that's what it goes. I can if you will. I can if you will.
Okay, no, I like it. That's awesome. That's what I was concerned about or thinking about. Okay, one other. I was curious. We've been sending out some letters lately, and I was kind of curious why you think some people would. So we've gotten some people that actually call us back and say, hey, I got your letter the second time, and I'm not interested in selling. I've got a lot of houses, but I'm not interested in selling. I just think, why would they bother to call me back? Why wouldn't they just shred the letter and move on? That they do all the work to call me back and talk to me. Do you think there's some ulterior motive or something is there something I'm not seeing or reading into?
There are people in this world that just like drama.
Yeah.
You know?
They're not. I was thinking. Well,
but here's how you talk to that guy if you just want to piss him off. Okay. I mean, but you got to say it with a smile and be laughing. They say, well, my house is not for sale. I said, well, certainly your house is for sale. My house is not for sale. I said, well, if I want to give you $2 million for that house, it's not for sale. You won't sell it? Well, if you give me $2 million for the house, I'll sell it. Okay, now that we've established your house is for sale, can we get to a more reasonable price? I did that the other day. I said, man, what would you take for it? It was a rifle I was looking at. I said, what would you take for that rifle? He said, it ain't for sale. I said, it ain't for sale for $1 million? He said, sold. It's for sale for $1 million. I said, well, now that we've established it is for sale, can we get to a price that's a little more reasonable?
Okay, I got a few that I can try that on. I was just wondering if maybe it had to do with, really they're reaching for being a buyer or something, or I could approach them about being buyers. If they claim they have a lot of properties, maybe they're a potential buyer.
Well, yeah, I would say, that's music to my ears that you're still in the game and you're not selling out. I have stuff all the time. Are you in the market to buy some stuff from me if I give you a good deal? Just try to make friends with them. You're probably really not going to sell the guy a house because it's really hard for two horse traders to trade horses. You know what I mean? You're probably really not going to sell him anything because why would you? There's a fool coming from California somewhere probably that just sold his house for $10 billion and he thinks $120,000 nothing for a house that's only worth $80.
Yeah.
And I just noticed I got three people on the call from California. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the ones that are not smart. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So it's called the greater fool theory. So that's why I don't buy hardly anything from the wholesalers. When they try to wholesale, they've overvalued the house and they've undervalued the repairs that are necessary. And there's no room in the middle. One mistake, one plumbing that you have to dig under the slab to fix or whatever, and your profit's gone. You know what I mean? You're too thin.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them because they're actually selling these houses on that thin a margin. just whoever's buying them is not going to be in business very long. But apparently, there's a lot of people trying on the house flipping business, because of A&E and flip this and flip that shows that make it look like it's just a piece of cake,
Yeah.
But anyways.
No, yeah, I know. We've been watching. One other. So back to I think Dave was talking about the land and the utilities. Actually, Dan was talking about where you gave some advice on using LandGlide. Is there anything you do to tell if it has utilities or not, or how do you approach that? I mean, I heard you earlier talking about, you throw it in if it makes sense.
Well, the first thing you do is you go look at the tax assessment in the county courthouse. Pull up that LandGlide will give you the address, and it'll give you who owns it, who's the taxpayer of record, and it'll tell you how many acres it is. So then you just go get on your courthouse computer, get to your courthouse through your computer and do a search for the tax assessment. And if it says land plus improvements, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot house, I'm pretty much going to guess there's water and electricity there. I mean, I'm not a genius, but I'm going to pretty much figure there is. Now, does that mean there really is? There's other ways to verify, but yeah, you can call the water district and say, hey, is the meter still out there? Is everything? What does it take for me to turn water on that place? Call the company. What does it take to, is this place still, can I still get the electricity turned on at this place? Yeah.
So it's on a case-by-case basis. There's nothing on LandGlide that tells you if there's utilities or anything like that.
No, it's just to help you find the owner so you can, to identify what it is somewhat. At least you know how many acres and you know the owner of record and you know the address.
Right. Yeah.
If there's a physical address. So now since you have the physical address, you can go start to look it up.
Right. Okay, that's all I had today. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
all right,
you,
man.
Mitch.
Appreciate you, man.